Since I was young, one lesson my parents taught me over and over again was to save money. They always compared prices, looked for discounts, and thought carefully before buying anything. As a child, I felt self-conscious when my parents did this way. So when I started working and earning my own salary, I did the opposite. I spent money on many unnecessary things and even got my first credit card. I know you maybe feel puzzled when I use even in front of got my first credit card, because in our generation it's normal to have a credit card, but for my parents it's not the same way. I'll explain to you later about this question. But after a few years of working, I slowly became just like my parents. Now in this video, I want to show you how I save money from my monthly salary and why my attitude toward money has completely changed. Before we get into that, I want to talk about where this habit comes from. As a Chinese, we are known for being good at saving money. We take pride in finding products that are both affordable and good quality, instead of paying a high price for something that's just average. We also love sharing money saving tips with each other. Sometimes I feel like saving money is just in our DNA. I was influenced by this culture from a young age. As what I said before, my parents taught me this lesson over and over again. So my parents were the first people who taught me the importance of saving money. And the first money saving method I ever tried was actually from one of my classmates. I went through a phase where I bought a lot of things I didn't actually need. When I started working and got my own salary, I bought them simply because I wanted them, because I didn't own them yet. I can't deny, after buying a lot of things I wanted, my desire to shop gradually became smaller. Luckily, I never bought luxury items or anything that was completely over my budget. Yeah, I still controlled myself in some way, but I still spend too much, and my expenses in every month was higher than I expected. That's why I started using a credit card. Now, let me explain to you why I said even got my first credit card. To my parents' generation, a credit card was almost the same as taking out a loan. They saw it as something you used only for major expenses, like buying a house, a car, or paying for a child's education, but not for everyday shopping. The funny thing is my parents only had credit cards because the salespeople offered free gifts, like a carton of egg or cooking oil if they signed up for one. But they never used the credit cards. So when my mom found out I had a credit card and was actually using it, she was completely shocked. She said, "Is something wrong? Why are you using a credit card?" I couldn't explain to her, cause as you know, it was the second start for telling you not doing this, not doing that, just like this. After working for several years, I realized how hard it is to earn money and understood why my parents did it that way. Now let's talk about how I actually save money. I want to make a statement before we start. Everything I'm sharing is based on my own experience and is not for financial or investment advice. Let's say my salary is 10,000 yuan a month, which is about $1,477. Here's how I usually divide my income. First, about 2,500 yuan for rent, including utility bill. Then around 3,000 yuan for my daily expenses, including food, transportation, household items, and other spending. Normally, this budget for daily expenses is more than enough, as long as I'm not buying something expensive. The remaining 4,500 yuan for saving and investing. Of this 4,500 yuan, about 65% goes into fixed-term bank deposits, while the other 35% goes into funds or stocks. As for savings, I prefer fixed-term deposits or investments that lock my money away for a certain period. That's making it much harder to spend money impulsively. When it comes to investing, I only choose products that I understand and consider relatively safe. If I don't understand how something works, I simply don't invest it. That's basically how I manage my money. These percentages are based on my own spending habits after tracking my expenses for several months. But there are not fixed rules. I adjust them depending on unexpected expenses, changes in income, or special situations. If I want to buy an expensive item like a new phone, I tend to pay with a credit card and go with an interest-free installment plan if available. I don't think credit cards are bad. The important thing is whether you use them responsibly. In this situation, I don't want to use my savings to buy a phone. I know this means I'll save less money in next month. But I prefer this way because it helps me avoid using my long-term savings for short-term purchase. Of course, I don't buy the most expensive phone on the market. I usually choose something in the middle range, so the monthly payments stay affordable. If something isn't necessary, I'll think about several times before buying. I also compare prices across different stores and shopping applications. That's exactly what my parents have always done. And now I have started doing the same. Yeah, it's just like a circle. My parents' personality just affect me. That doesn't mean I never buy things I want. I still treat myself once in a while, even if something is a little expensive. I just try not to let those purchases become a habit. Or if I'm planning a trip this month or next month, I probably won't save any money during that period. Instead, I'll use the amount I normally save as my travel budget. Before I travel, I estimate how much I'll probably spend and try my best to stay within that budget. If I end up spending a little more, I might use a small portion of my savings, because at that moment, travel is more important to me than saving money. I don't travel very often, so it's okay with that. I tried different saving methods that friends recommended or that I learned about online. Some worked and some didn't. After a lot of trial, I finally found a system that suits me. Looking back, I never expected one day I would understand my parents' choices and naturally develop some of the same money habits I used to question. Anyway, this is a long video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And if you have any idea, please share them in the comments. As you know, I'm actually not a native speaker for English, and I think it's very difficult for me to figure out some pronunciation. You just can skip like that, and my tongue is like wrapped together. So anyway, I'll try my best.